tide. When the storm gets rough, we ain't gonna hide. Propaganda swilling, but it won't touch me. Only love around, that's how it's gonna be. Keep moving forward, never looking back. The truth's in the power, it's an unstoppable track. In the city lights where dreams collide, we hustle through the night, fire in our stride. Whispers in the dark can't dim my glow. With rhythm in my soul, I'm ready for the show. We break the chains, rewrite the rules in this concrete jungle where nobody's fools. Unity sings louder than the lies they scheme. In the heart of the struggle, we dare to dream. Keep moving forward, never looking back. The truth's in the power, it's an unstoppable track.
Another Queen Ahmadiyyah production.
Haze on the corner, they talking real loud. Spreading on light, trying to bring me down. Enemies lurking, but I won't back away. Got a vision in my mind, I'm here to stay. Got my crew beside me, we rise like a tide. When the storm gets rough, we ain't gonna hide. Propaganda swilling, but it won't touch me. Only love around, that's how it's gonna be. Keep moving forward, never looking back. The truth's in the power, it's an unstoppable track. In the city lights where dreams collide, we hustle through the night, fire in our stride. Whispers in the dark can't dim my glow. With rhythm in my soul, I'm ready for the show. We break the chains, rewrite the rules in this concrete jungle where nobody's fools. Unity sings louder than the lies they scheme. In the heart of the struggle, we dare to dream. Keep moving forward, never looking back. The truth's in the power, it's an unstoppable track. Haze on the corner, they talking real loud. Spreading on light, trying to bring me down. Enemies lurking, but I won't back away. Got a vision in my mind, I'm here to stay. Got my crew beside me, we rise like a tide. When the storm gets rough, we ain't gonna hide. Propaganda swilling, but it won't touch me. Only love around, that's how it's gonna be. Keep moving forward, never looking back. The truth's in the power, it's an unstoppable track. In the city lights where dreams.
All right. Hello, everyone. Thanks for tuning back in once again to the original Queen Ahmadiyyah show. I'm your host, Queen Ahmadiyyah, and this is your morning wake-up call. So as you're coming in, please feel free to go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Be sure to click that notification bell and click the word all so you're notified each time the Queen Goddess goes live. Okay, so before we get into it, let's have a brief word from my sponsor at 12 Tribes. Here we go.
Do not buy 12 Tribes on Earth hair growth oil and hair magic elixir unless you want super healthy, gorgeous hair that grows. They have a whole line of amazing hair growth products, including hair growth leave-in conditioner spray, hair growth shampoo, hair growth spray, and hair growth butter. I'm starting to sense a theme here. They include quality natural ingredients. They smell amazing, and you can see the results for yourself. So if you're looking for healthy hair growth for your natural or relaxed hair, try 12 Tribes on Earth today.
All right, so don't forget you can purchase 12 Tribes hair oil at Etsy.com. Just look for Lisa Crafts. You can also find it at Walmart.com, and she sells beard oil. Alejandro, thank you for your contribution to the channel, beloved. I appreciate you. Peace, love, and blessings. All right, Christopher's here. Mel, Deronda, Chili Willie from Philly. Terry Hitton is in the house, Pearly. All right, let's get into it. Shout out to all of my loyal royals and everyone tuned into the Queen. And a big shout out to my moderators who'll be putting in work. Hadassah is here, Nene, Danielle, all right, Buckhorst DC, Jeff ATL is in the virtual building, Claudette, it's Bree to you. All right, so let's get into it. C-Stan, I see you, beloved. All right, Mel is here, Christopher Perkins. Truth Montage, Shelvit. Okay, so let's get this party started. Now, you all remember when Trump had that meeting with Xi Jinping? You know, it was really embarrassing because I'm sure everybody noticed, not just me, how Trump was kissing that man's butt Okay, and then just trying to act like they were besties and all of that, saying, "Oh, we have a very good relationship." The man's meanwhile looking at him like he's crazy, and quite frankly, it didn't seem like he wanted to be bothered with Trump at all. But that's just my opinion. What did you all notice? Hold on, let me pull this back up. I mean, Trump was just being so fake. And then does he really expect this man's going to have any favor for him after he tried to bully them with the tariffs? And then he only backed down when he saw they weren't going to back down?
But he's a very tough negotiator. That's not good.
但是他是很强硬的谈判者哦，这不好。
We know each other well.
我们相互之间非常了解。
Good to meet you. Great pleasure to see you again.
Good to see you again.
很高兴再次见到。
Me too.
And we're going to have a very successful meeting, I have no doubt.
我肯定我们今天会有非常成功的会议。
But he's a very tough negotiator. That's not good.
Now, if you ask me, Xi Jinping looks very annoyed. Okay, he looks absolutely annoyed with Trump, as far as I'm concerned. But what do y'all have to say about it? Do you all agree? Because he just looked like he was perturbed, in my opinion. But let's talk about it, because not much got accomplished. If you ask me, Trump just went there and came back with a whole nothing burger, okay? Because he's really in the same predicament that he was in the first place, okay? President Donald Trump and President Xi Jinping reached a trade truce during a high-stakes meeting in South Korea on Thursday, de-escalating a dispute over rare earth elements that had threatened to push the world's two largest economies into a full-blown trade war. Now, China agreed to pause for 1 year the sweeping export controls on rare earths announced on October the 9th that had touched off the dispute. Trump told reporters aboard Air Force One that the rare earths agreement is a 1 year deal that will be very routinely extended as time goes by. The president said that he plans to visit China in April, and Xi will come to the U.S., either Palm Beach, Florida, or Washington, D.C. at a later date. He said, "We have a deal. Now, every year, we'll renegotiate the deal, but I think the deal will go on for a long time, long beyond the year. But all of the rare earth has been settled, and that's for the world." This is what Trump says. Now, Trump said he cut tariffs effective immediately on China related to fentanyl to 10% from 20%. This reduces the overall rate on Chinese goods to around 47%. Okay, that's what the president told reporters. So he took it down from 57% to 47%. Now, Trump had previously threatened to slap China with 100% of tariffs on November the 1st, if you all remember, over its rare earths controls. The U.S. will postpone a rule announced on September the 29th that blacklisted majority-owned subsidiaries of Chinese companies on an entity list, according to a statement from China's Ministry of Commerce. Now, the U.S. and China also agreed to suspend fees for 1 year on ships that dock at each other's ports. Okay, so Beijing has surprised the White House with strict export controls on rare earths ahead of the meeting between Trump and Xi, exploiting its dominance of the global supply chain to gain leverage over Washington. Now, the U.S. is dependent on China for rare earths, which are used to produce magnets that are key inputs in weapons platforms, semiconductor manufacturing, electric vehicles, and other applications. China successfully used the rare earths export controls and a soybean embargo, okay, just to force Trump's dumb self to lower the tariffs. And he think that he really came away with something, okay? I want y'all to pay attention, okay, to force the U.S. to lower tariffs. This is what Wolf research strategist Tobin Marcus told clients in a note. Saying Xi was ready for Trump in his second term and has a powerful weapon in rare earths. Piper Sandler analyst led by Andy Lapierre told clients, China is getting the better of the U.S. in these recent truce negotiations. And of course they are. Okay, Trump showed his hand. Now, the truce reached between the U.S. and China is not a comprehensive deal. This is what Nicholas Burns, former U.S. ambassador to China during the Biden administration, cautioned, saying, where we are in an uneasy truce in a long, still simmering trade war. Okay, that's what he said to CNBC. Now, it's not entirely clear what China has agreed to in key areas such as agriculture and energy purchases from the U.S. and cooperation on fentanyl trafficking. Basically, Trump says that the president of China says he's going to go harder or work harder to ensure that the fentanyl isn't coming into the U.S. Okay, and then, everything else seemed pretty vague. They said they would start back purchasing soybeans from the U.S., but how much are they going to purchase from the U.S.? And are they still going to purchase them from Argentina? Okay, after Trump pissed them off. Trump says Beijing has agreed to purchase large amounts of soybeans, sorghum, and other farm products. China will buy 25 million metric tons of soybeans annually over the next 3 years. Okay, so there is an amount because previously I didn't see that. Now, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent said this to Fox Business in an interview. Okay, so that's why I didn't see it because Trump didn't say how much it was going to be. He just said they were going to start back purchasing, but are they still going to be purchasing from Argentina? Okay, now, but China's Ministry of Commerce simply said the two sides agreed to expand agricultural trade without providing specifics. Okay, so I was right because I didn't see any specifics. It was very vague, in my opinion. Now, what Bissett is saying could be true and it could not be true. Okay, because it looks like China's Ministry of Commerce is saying something different. Now, Beijing had made promises on soybeans and fentanyl during Trump's first term. Piper Sandler analyst LaPierre says. So it's doubtful Trump received anything in return for lowering the tariffs on China. Okay, so he got nothing, just like I told you, a whole nothing burger. Trump's an idiot. Okay, all he's doing is pissing people off, having people look at America with a whole side eye, and nobody wants to cooperate. Nelson G said the soybeans will be much less than normal. Likely so. Okay, likely so, because Trump was trying to bully those people. And now he wants to come up there and act like he and that man are best friends. Oh, we have a good relationship. No, you don't. Okay, no, you don't. Now, because I'm sure he is not going to forget how Trump behaved previously. Now, goes on to say that Trump said China may buy a large amount of oil and gas from Alaska. They may. Okay, not confirmed. But a deal still has to be reached. Energy Secretary Chris Wright and Interior Secretary Doug Burgum will meet with Chinese officials to see if such an agreement can be worked out, according to Trump. Now, the president said he discussed the export of NVIDIA chips with Xi and will speak with CEO Jensen Huang about it. But the discussions did not cover the most advanced Blackwell graphics processing units, according to Trump. It is up to China and NVIDIA to reach a deal, he says. Now, he said that's really between you and NVIDIA, but we're sort of the arbitrator. This is what Trump said aboard Air Force One. China's Ministry of Commerce said Beijing will work with the U.S. to resolve issues related to TikTok, though no further detail was provided. And that's interesting, too, because Trump sat there and lied and said they'd already come to a deal with TikTok. Said it was already done. It was already wrapped up. And now they're saying there is no further details provided, saying that they'll just try to come to a resolve. Trump did not mention TikTok during his comments to reporters aboard Air Force One or in a Truth Social post about the truce with China. I know he didn't, okay, because he already lied to us previously, saying that they had this whole deal. So anyway, what do you all think about all of this? Yeah, Natasha said he kind of put his foot in his mouth. Exactly. That's exactly what he did. Okay? That's exactly what he did. Now let's go to this next video. Claudette said just a liar who lies. Exactly.
Trump hates. One is to be made to feel stupid. And the second one, which he hates even more, is not to be cut in on a good deal, right? So that's what he's doing when he's going around the world, cutting good deals for America, but also one assumes when he can, above board for himself. Now, with China, he thought back on Liberation Day that, looking at the trade balance, the Chinese sell us 5 times as many things as we sell them, that he had them where he wanted them, that, he could increase tariffs. And the initial stages, it was like, I think 45%, and they would bow to his greater will. except the Chinese, having tasted some of Trump's trade tariff ire in the first administration, has spent the last 5 years getting ready for the next round of Trump tariffs, which did not hit them with any surprise. And what they knew they had, that America doesn't just want but needs, is not just the rare earth metals, but also pharmaceutical products.
So I think the issue here is, and I find this in America, there's no big outcry about Trump's tariffs at the moment, partly because I think people sort of buy his underlying argument for it. The question is if and when the prices start to rise at a level that is really quite painful. I think that's huge, because I think that was one of the biggest factors in the last election. And I think it's hard to get around that, basically.
There are two things that Donald Trump hates. One is to be made to feel stupid. And the second,
Quite frankly, I don't know how Trump doesn't feel stupid, because that's exactly what he is. Okay, nobody has to make him feel it. He should automatically do so. Now, here's what he had to say about the meeting.
It's an amazing meeting. He's a great leader of a very powerful, very strong country, China. It was an outstanding group of decisions, I think, that was made. A lot of decisions were made, too. There wasn't too much left out there. And we've come to conclusion on many very important points, and we'll be handing that to you in a little while. I think we agreed to almost everything in a very acceptable form. I wouldn't say everything was discussed, because there were things that probably, in retrospect, we could have discussed that we didn't, for some reason, didn't come up. We have not too many major stumbling blocks. We have a deal. Now, every year we'll renegotiate the deal, but I think the deal will go on for a long time, long beyond the year. We'll negotiate at the end of the year, but all of the rare earth has been settled. And that's for the world. It's a one-year agreement, and we'll extend it after a year.
Okay, let's go to this next video clip. He swears everything went so perfect. Everything's fine. Nothing to see here. We have a good deal. Like he really brought back something from the table.
And Chinese President Xi, they just met here in Busan, South Korea. The first time they've seen each other face to face in 6 years now. Exactly what happened over those 2 hours behind closed doors? The details are still not exactly clear here, but President Trump suggested that a trade deal could be, quote, pretty soon between the two countries. Now, we have heard this before. Of course, during the first Trump administration, his team negotiated for 18 months and only came up with the phase one part of a deal that China never even upheld its commitment to here. But President Trump walked away shaking hands with President Xi, and he said that he got a commitment to immediately buy soybeans and other farm products by China. Exactly how much will they buy? That's not clear, especially because before the trade war that President Trump started earlier this year, China was in fact buying billions of dollars worth of goods. Now, the other part of this was those rare earth minerals that go into building jets, computers, smartphones, electric vehicles. The Chinese had put export restrictions on the ability to sell to the U.S. President Trump said that has reopened. He said the same thing back in June, though, too. The president also said that China agreed to send rare earth minerals back to the United States. It had stopped doing that earlier this year during the trade war. One major issue that was not discussed, I am told, was TikTok. President Trump had said that President Xi would need to provide final authorization for that TikTok deal between the China-backed company ByteDance and the Trump administration to move forward. But I'm told that that didn't actually happen. President Trump said that he intends to go to China this upcoming April, and then in turn, after that, he'll welcome Xi to the United States, either in Palm Beach and Mar-a-Lago or in Washington, D.C. at the White House. President Trump and Chinese President Xi, they just met here in Busan.
Okay, so you all heard that. We're in the same predicament, okay? Because they were already buying soybeans from America at the end of the day. That's what they were already doing. So how did Trump do anything different? Well, he didn't. Okay, he didn't do anything different, quite frankly. So with that all being said, let's go to this next clip. Now I want you all to listen to what this man says. Okay? I actually think Trump is scared of China, and he likely should be.
Need an additional teacher. China does not want to be a superpower. China just wants to be treated as an equal. and on fair basis.
Hang on a minute. I'm going to
This trade
interrupt you there.
war
You
is
said China doesn't want to be a superpower. Come on. China wants to be a
China
superpower.
does not
China
want to
is a
be
superpower.
A superpower, by Chinese definition, is some country very abrasive, very much domineering against others, and never treats other countries as an equal. Now, this trade war or the tariff war is completely pointless. It shows that the United States cannot win this trade war. And I hope President Trump will tell the American people that it is the American people who will eventually pay the bulk of all the tariffs charged by the United States against all the other countries, including against China. China will never pay a single penny of the tariff charged by the United States against Chinese export to the United States. Therefore, I truly believe this trade war is really much ado about nothing. It demonstrates the United States doesn't care about free trade. It really wants to throw a wedge into free trade for what? For damaging and ruining its own reputation and respectability. Well, China does not need an additional teacher. China does not want to be a superpower.
Hey, now do you hear this? Do you all hear this? Going in. Okay, really going in. Hold on, I put up the wrong comment. Terry says, when divided states outsource jobs to China, they beat us at our own games. Why? Now we are bending their knee. Let me tell you something. Or now we are at their bending knee. Right. But let me tell you something. This is all Trump's doing. Okay, with his stupidity. Mel says China, Russia, and North Korea are power nuts, and Trump are following right behind them. Well, he's damn sure trying to, beloved. He's trying to, but he needs to sit down somewhere because I'm sorry. China is absolutely a superpower, and I don't think America is ready for any smoke with them. Now, that's just my opinion.
News: the U.S. Space Force just sounded the alarm again. And what they're warning about now should terrify every American. China is building a space-based kill chain, a fully operational system designed to find, track, and destroy U.S. forces from orbit. General Stephen Whitting, the new U.S. Space Force commander, laid it out. He called China's progress in space breathtaking. Their goal? Target U.S. aircraft carriers, Pacific bases, and ground assets in real time using hundreds of orbiting eyes. As of now, Beijing has over 510 surveillance satellites in orbit, and they're adding more every month. In 2024 alone, they launched 67 ISR satellites. That's spy gear built for precision targeting. But it doesn't stop at surveillance. Whitting warned of hard kill weapons, anti-satellite missiles, orbital lasers, even satellites that move in formation, like a space dogfight. Yes, they're already rehearsing combat in orbit. And the soft kill tools? Cyber attacks, GPS jamming, and satellite disruption. These can blind U.S. forces and compromise entire countries without a single shot fired. And here's the kicker. The PLA is now fully integrating space power into its Navy, Army, and Air Force. Every missile, every ship, every drone. Breaking news, the U.S. Space Force...
And see, here's the thing. This is why Trump needs to be really careful when he's trying to bully some of these leaders, okay? Playing these games, specifically with China. And this is what China said at the beginning of the year, or I'm sorry, at the beginning of the month. This is what they said at the beginning of October.
Never allow the United States to launch a war against China, conventional or nuclear, without suffering devastating consequences. China is the only country with hydrogen bomb, and that can cover every corner of the world in less than 20 minutes and destroy any target in any corner of the world without any possibility of being intercepted. I hope Washington has learned the lesson. If you want to have war, you will get war. If you want to destroy China, you will be destroyed. If you want to impose nuclear war on China, you will be wiped out by nuclear war. This is very serious. China's policy is very clear. China will not fire the first shot, but China will not allow you to fire the second shot. I told him point blank, no country is a match against China in terms of military power. China will never allow the United States.
Now, did y'all hear that? Did y'all hear that? Okay, Trump needs to sit down somewhere and stop playing games with these people. Is he trolling them or what? Nene says, we're still thinking we have a powerful military, but wars are not fought by troops on the ground anymore. Okay? You got that right. It's Breach, you said he needs to stop playing. Okay, and this is a video that Willie did yesterday, where there's more clips of them saying basically the same thing.
Did.
Now I'm going to put an overlay on this so I don't have any copyright issues. But yeah, they've been talking trash, and Trump needs to be quiet.
Serious warning to the United States. China will not fire the first shot, but China will never allow you to fire the second shot. Check it out.
Policy is very clear. China will not fire the first shot, but China will not allow you to fire the second shot. China will never allow the United States to launch a war against China, conventional or nuclear, without suffering devastating consequences. If you have not watched the Victory Day parade in Beijing on September the 3rd, one of the weapons China demonstrated, we call it 61, because it can contain 60 nuclear warheads plus one hydrogen bomb. Now, in the world of today, let me tell you, which country has hydrogen bomb? China is the only country with hydrogen bomb. And that ICBM can cover every corner of the world in less than 20 minutes and destroy any target in any corner of the world without any possibility of being intercepted. I hope.
Now, do y'all hear that? Any country in the world within 20 minutes and with no possibility of being intercepted. Okay, yeah, I don't think anybody needs to be messing with them. All right, this is scary as hell. In 20 minutes, everything in its path totally obliterated, disintegrated. Okay, please pay attention.
Washington has learned the lesson. If you want to have war, you will get war. If you want to destroy China, you will be destroyed. If you want to impose nuclear war on China, you will be wiped out by nuclear war. This is very serious.
I ain't got no problem with that, and here's why. I can't stand bullies. Oh, no, 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 no. Now, here's what I find interesting about some of the comments people have been making about the remarks out of China. People are pointing the finger at the people in China, the leadership in China, saying that they're wicked and they're evil, and why do they want to harm us and this and that. When Trump has been poking the bear, antagonizing those folks for years. Even blaming the pandemic, blaming COVID on China. You know, I don't know what the truth is, but I'm just saying, you know, just giving you
He definitely
an
has.
example. I find it extremely interesting how people can blame a person for wanting to defend themselves or defending themselves. It kind of reminds me of how things are in this country when Black people defend themselves. They turn the Black person who defends themselves into the bad guy. Yeah, it's so bad that sometimes Black people be mad at the Black person who defends themselves. Ain't that something? Talk about a mind Jedi trick they played on us, y'all. I mean, I can't even imagine having remorse for somebody who's trying to harm me.
Okay, who could? No lies detected. No lies detected. Okay, at the end of the day, that's y'all's crazy ass president. And that is Trump sitting here playing all these games. And that is some scary stuff, because A hydrogen bomb that serious, that deadly? Now, Perplex says they're all some sick bastards. Why would they be allowed to create something like that? We all will be wiped out. Well, they've been having these capabilities. Okay, they've just gotten more advanced. Let's not forget how the U.S. bombed um, Nagasaki, right, and Hiroshima. Okay, let's not forget that. So, and I mean, that was really drastic if you know the story about that. And so, yeah, they've been having this type of capabilities. And now it's just much more dangerous and advanced and clearly moves a whole lot quicker because covering the entire country in 20 minutes.
Says that they're not fucking about and they start throwing threats around. You better listen. Because China's just said to America, we will not fire the first shot, but we will not allow you to fire the second shot. And then asked them if they'd seen the September the 3rd parade with the 61 bomb. Now, for those who don't know, the 61 bomb carries 60 nuclear warheads and 1 hydrogen bomb within it. And there isn't another country in the world that has a hydrogen bomb. There's only China. Now, this is the conspiracy part, and you can throw it out if you want. But China's regime, the communist regime, is going all over the world. Like it or not, we are closer to China than we used to be as a society, and we will get ever closer. And this is all by design. You look at all of these countries that have said they'll never go down the route of communism, Marxism. Well, we are certainly on that road, and it stems from China and the NGOs that are in the back pocket. This has been decades in the making. So with them throwing a threat over to America, doesn't it really show you who the most powerful are? Trump's just playing at it. China, they've got all the cards. So when
Yeah, he's right. Sounds like they do have all the cards if you ask me. Okay. Now let's go to what else Trump is doing. Now this is what he's saying. I want you all to pay attention. Trump says, as I have said for years, Obamacare is a disaster. Rates are going through the roof for really bad health care. Do something, Democrats. That's what he says. Do something, Democrats. Well, here's the thing. Didn't Trump say that he was going to come up with a plan? Of course he did, and hasn't produced a single darn thing. Do you all remember how Trump went on that interview with 60 Minutes that time and sat up there and lied and said that he had the healthcare plan and it was like 600 pages? When the interviewer looked at the little pamphlet that he was holding, the little notebook, ha! It was nothing but a bunch of empty pages. Do you all remember that? It was literally nothing but a bunch of empty pages. But now he wants to sit up here and talk about do something, Democrats. Why doesn't he do something? Donald Trump has not produced one single comprehensive health care plan, but instead he's promoted a series of ideas and policies aimed at replacing and dismantling the Affordable Care Act, i.e. Obamacare. Now, his more recent proposals in 2024 and 2025 focus on enhancing price transparency, so he says, restructuring Medicaid and expanding Medicare Advantage, though some critics argue that these may lead to reduced coverage. Please pay attention. Okay? Just full of crap is all. Now, when in office, Trump repeatedly stated that his goal was to repeal and replace the ACA. Okay, but a full replacement never came to fruition, remember? And during September of 2024, the presidential debate, he again referred to having the concepts of a plan. Now, while in office, Trump issued several executive orders, including the America First Healthcare Plan in 2020. Now, these orders aim to increase price transparency and promote less comprehensive but cheaper insurance options like short-term limited duration plans. Trump has consistently pushed for hospital and insurer price transparency, including through an executive order in February of 2025. In October of 2025, a White House fact sheet announced a deal with AstraZeneca to bring American drug prices in line with those paid by other developed nations under a most favored nation pricing model. Current proposals for Trump and the Republican allies include potentially altering Medicaid by limiting federal spending with block grants or per-person caps, reintroducing work requirements, or rolling back the ACA's expansion of the program. Critics warn these measures could lead to significant coverage losses. Like I said, honey. So again, Trump is just full of BS. And he wants to keep going in on what the Democrats have done and going in on Obama when he clearly is not doing his due diligence. Okay? I just feel like we're being trolled at this point because throughout his presidency and campaigns, Trump has consistently called for the appeal and replacement of the Affordable Care Act. Okay? Though a single replacement plan never materialized, like I said. Just concepts of a plan to replace is all we've ever gotten. And lies and a whole bunch of BS. Okay? Leon said he's a big bully. He's a big bully and nothing else. Exactly. Christopher said they're sabotaging our society on purpose. I told you all that. Trump's job is to completely dismantle America. Okay, that's his job. That's his assignment. Okay, and he's doing a good job of it with everything within him. But let's talk about some of the other things going on. Okay. S.N.A.P funding brings urgency to government shutdown. Trump returns to U.S. after Asia trip meeting with Xi. Trump announced reductions in U.S. tariffs on Chinese goods, while China plans to end restrictions on rare earth minerals for a year. So Trump posted on Truth Social that he wants Republicans to use the nuclear option and eliminate the legislative filibuster, okay, a Senate rule that requires 60 votes for most bills to advance in the Senate, saying it's now time for the Republicans to play their Trump card, pun intended clearly, and go for what is called the nuclear option. Get rid of the filibuster. Get rid of it now, Trump said on Truth Social. Now, Republicans hold a 53-47 edge over Democrats in the Senate. The dozen plus votes on a House-passed Republican funding bill have all failed to reach the 60 vote threshold in advance. Some congressional Republicans have called for the scraping of the filibuster. NBC News recently reported that Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene advocated for the Senate to get rid of the rule. However, Senate Majority Leader John Thune promised after last year's election that the legislative filibuster would not be altered while he's the majority leader. The Trump administration plans to pay military members tomorrow, but by using a mix of legislative and Defense Department funds, according to an official with the White House Office of Management and Budget. It would be the second time the White House has been able to avoid missing a pay period for the troops during the government shutdown. Okay, now in the 30th day, mind you. Service members are considered essential federal employees and are required to work during funding lapses, but essential workers typically aren't paid during shutdowns. That would bring the total to about $5.3 billion, and that's billion dollars, which is still less than the $6.5 billion that was drawn upon to pay for the troops' paychecks earlier this month. It's unclear why there's a difference in the amounts, and the OMB official didn't respond to requests for comments on that particular point. Okay, because clearly they don't want to get into the specifics of it all. So these are some of the latest updates. But the thing that I found interesting also was that J.D. Vance came out and told the Democrats basically that they need to stop the charade, trying to make it as though they're the reason for the shutdown and the stamps not being distributed and all of that. So the Agricultural Department warned people over the weekend that Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program benefits or food stamps will halt beginning Saturday because of the government shutdown. The lapse in benefits is set to affect more than 40 million people. Okay, and so we already know that much. But now you have one of the House Republicans telling the people that are the recipients of S.N.A.P to stop smoking crack. So let's talk about it. Yeah, he told them to stop smoking crack. And J.D. Vance is sitting here trying to gaslight us. I mean, Trump's whole administration, as far as I'm concerned, is trying to gaslight us. That's what they've been doing the entire time, acting as though they have nothing to do with the stamps not being passed out or distributed or whatever. Okay? So let's get into what Clay Higgins had to say. Likes up, everyone, please. Like and share. Thank you in advance. So he made a post on social media. Let me just pull this up. Hold on. Okay, here it is. Okay, so he made a comment. He says, they say Clay Higgins has little sympathy for millions of Americans whose food assistance benefits are set to lapse on November the 1st. On Saturday, the Federal Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, also known as SNAP, will run out of money amid the ongoing government shutdown that began on October the 1st. Now, the government partially shut down nearly a month ago after the Senate failed to muster the votes necessary to pass a Republican-sponsored funding bill. Even though Republicans control the chamber 53 to 47, 60 votes are needed to overcome a procedural hurdle to move the bill forward. Democrats said they won't support any funding bill unless it contains an extension of health care premium subsidies under the Affordable Health Care Act, which are slated to expire on December 31st. And now, so like they're sitting here blaming this on the Democrats, but the Democrats want to make sure that people still have their health care insurance, and the Republicans don't care. So as November the 1st has drawn closer, recipients of SNAP benefits, often called food stamps, have taken center stage in national media coverage. According to the U.S. Department of Agriculture, SNAP served 41.7 million Americans across 22 million households per month in 2024. Now, Higgins, and this is Representative Clay Higgins, took to X on Thursday and said SNAP beneficiaries should have been stockpiling at least 1 month's supply of food for good measure. He told them, stop smoking crack. Do y'all hear this? This is absolutely so nefarious, okay, and egregious. D. Major says healthcare is a human right. It absolutely should be. Okay, it absolutely should be. But let's continue with what this man said. He goes on to say, there are 22 million American households receiving SNAP benefits for groceries at $42 per year. I'm sorry, at $4,200 per year on average. Try to get your head wrapped around how many pantries you can stock with $4,200 in properly shopped groceries. Any American who has been receiving $4,200 per year of free groceries and does not have at least 1 month of groceries stocked should never again receive SNAP. Because, wow, stop smoking crack. That's what he said. He said, because, wow, stop smoking crack. Now, I'm sorry, but in my opinion, $4,200 a year, it's not a lot of money. Who thinks that's a lot of money for food? Who thinks that's a lot of money for food? And here's the thing, too. When you really think about it, these Republicans are always talking trash about people getting these government benefits like SNAP and whatnot. But at the end of the day, these wealthy people, the rich people that own these corporations, they get food stamps, or they don't get food stamps, but they get SNAP benefits too. Did y'all know that? Did y'all know they get SNAP benefits too? And I'm not talking about food stamps, and I'm not talking about an EBT card. What I'm talking about is they get bailouts, and they also get money given to them for their businesses. That money that they don't need, money that comes from our taxpayer dollars. They get handouts too, is all I'm saying. But they want to talk down on and disparage people who are in need. Why don't they raise the minimum wage? Why don't they raise the minimum wage? Because to me, it should be double what it actually is. It's ridiculous. And then they want to sit here and act like people don't work. Some of the people getting SNAP benefits absolutely do work. They just don't make a lot of money. Now, there, of course, are some people who, are just fraudulent, like the lady who's driving around in the Range Rover after being on Section 8 food stamps for 13 years. But at the end of the day, a majority of these people actually need their benefits, okay? And some of them are absolutely working, but they're just not making enough. And that is not really their fault, is it? So I just find it all interesting. They're trying to go in. Now, listen, so they say hours after Higgins' tweet, President Donald Trump demanded that Senate Republicans end the 60-vote threshold for advancing legislation and said, initiate the nuclear option, he wrote on Truth Social. Get rid of the filibuster and make America great again. Senator Josh Hawley of the one of the more conservative senators has introduced a bill that would fund SNAP beyond November the 1st. Senate Democrats have said they would back the measure, but Republican leadership has given no indication that they will bring it to the floor for a vote because they don't care. And they're the ones that really want to end SNAP. Donald Trump came out and told us this yesterday or the other day. Remember? Isn't that what he came out and said? He basically came out and told everybody that they want to get rid of some of the Democrat programs. And that's what they're going to do. But in the meantime, they're sitting here trying to make us think that the Democrats are the ones that are the problem. Just gaslighting and deflecting, okay, the entire time. And like I said, JD Vance coming out saying that the Democrats are playing charades. That's what they're doing. Okay, that's what they're doing. They're trying to push this false narrative and trying to make it look as though they're not doing anything. Their hands are clean. They're really trying to make it as though they're trying to help us, as if they're trying to help the citizens. Okay, as if they're fighting for people to get their benefits, and they're definitely not doing that. Okay, in fact, they're doing the opposite. And so anyway, honey, I just find it all very interesting. Here's somebody else going off. Yeah, they're all playing games. Absolutely, they are. They know what they're doing. They know exactly what they're doing. And then you have House Speaker Mike Johnson playing games, blocking the confirmation so they can't release those Epstein files. Now, he came out the other day and said that he was not going to block it. He'd go ahead and let that go through. But I'm just waiting to see when it's going to happen.
Could not pay me to care what somebody uses their SNAP or their EBT to buy. You just fucking couldn't. Because of the laundry list of things that I have an issue with my tax dollars being spent on, that's not fucking one of them. Let's see here. Our demented septuagenarian is going on fucking golf trips every goddamn day. Our futon fornicating vice president loves to go on a vacation. We bankrolled a goddamn genocide. Oh, and let's not forget the fucking concentration camps that are being built in the U.S. that you sacks of shit gave cutesy little names to. And what you're fucking worried about is people who are on the brink of fucking poverty getting a pack of Oreos with dinner so they have something to look forward to. Give me a fucking break. Are you red hat and cousin humping motherfuckers raised to have zero empathy for anyone at all? Because all I get out of this is that you motherfuckers are looking for any excuse to punch down on somebody who has a worse lot in life than you. And half of you motherfuckers do it with a cross on your neck and you're the first in the pew on fucking Sunday. God damn! Eat a bag of shit and get fucked. You could not pay me to care what somebody uses their SNAP or their
That guy, I absolutely love him. He went in, didn't he? Oh my goodness, he went all in. I have definitely got to follow him. He is amazing. Mel said she's floored. Okay. Lisa said, what did I just hear? OMG. Woo, honey, he went in on them. Okay. Nene said, no lies told. Absolutely none. Okay. Anthony said exactly what I've been saying. They act like SNAP people living in luxury. Left my ass off. Okay. Honey. JR said this place on all levels horrible. Man said, tell us how you really feel. Talking about, I've never heard anybody go off to that degree. Woo! Okay, that was a good one. Now, back to what I was saying about House Speaker Mike Johnson not wanting to swear in Adelita Grahalova to the U.S. House of Representatives. Okay, We're in October. He still hasn't done it. He's using her swearing in as leverage to pressure the House Democrats, or I'm sorry, the Senate Democrats, into supporting a House-passed bill to end the government shutdown. And so they're blaming this on the Democrats, like I said, because the Democrats won't give them what they want, which is a whole bunch of BS. Okay, Johnson's official reason is that Grijalva must wait until the House resumes regular legislative business, which is on hold because of the shutdown. However, critics accuse him of delaying the swearing in because Grijalva's vote will help force a vote on releasing Justice Department files on the Epstein case. Yeah, I told y'all that weeks ago. That's exactly why he's doing it. Okay, he's not fooling anyone. Now, John has previously sworn in Republican special election winners during pro forma sessions, while the White House was not conducting regular business, highlighting a double standard. Okay. The Attorney General of Arizona filed a lawsuit against Johnson in federal court to compel Grijalva's swearing in. Democrats, including House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries and Arizona Congressman Greg Stanton, have condemned Johnson's actions. Grijalva has issued a statement to CNN calling for Johnson to set a date for her to be sworn in. I mean, he's only prolonging the inevitable because the truth's eventually going to come out. Now, in late October of 2025, the government shutdown continued, with Johnson refusing to call the House back into session until Senate Democrats meet his demands. Y'all hear that? Until Senate Democrats meet his demands. But they want us to think, Trump and them want us to think that the Democrats are the ones that are the reason for the shutdown. But it's them because they're not getting what they want. Okay? This is pretty much like extortion as far as I'm concerned. He maintains that Grijalva swearing in will happen once regular business resumes after the shutdown. What do y'all have to say about all of that? Okay, these people are such deflectors. I mean, they really, really are. Oh, but let me tell you all something else that I found interesting. This is what I found interesting, okay? Now, you know, Trump lied about that TikTok deal already having been made and everything, but there was something even more interesting. Something even more interesting. Let me pull this up. Hold on, beloveds. Hold on. Here it is. So now they're saying that there's new guidelines. There's new guidelines on TikTok. There's certain things that you cannot talk about unless you have a degree in that field. Now, I want to know you all's thoughts on this. Let's get into it. Likes up, everyone. Please like and share.
Shit's getting weird. Part infinity. Listen to this. Let me know what y'all think. China now requires influencers to hold verified academic or professional qualifications, such as a university degree or official certification, before discussing specialized topics like medicine, finance, and law online. This new regulation, announced in late October 2025, aims to curb misinformation, but critics warn it could also stifle creativity and limit free speech. Violators may face consequences including account suspension or closure, as well as fines. Listen, there's a part of me that I understand, because some people be talking out of their ass sometimes. They be talking out of their booty cheeks. But sometimes people that talk out of their booty cheeks be right. You know? I get it. But it's like, I can't talk about business unless I have a business degree. Huh? That doesn't make any sense. They can do this in China, I guess. This will never slide in America. Hell no. Again, one part of me is like, I understand. Misinformation can be a problem. But the American in me says, you ain't gonna fucking tell me what I can and can't talk about. So this is a weird one. To make it a law is crazy. I don't know. I already know how Americans are gonna feel about this. If you're a Chinese content creator,
I'm gonna tell you like this. I think that's a good idea. I'm going to tell you like this. I think it's a good idea. Ever says too many random people on social media don't know what the hell they're talking about. Exactly. Fake Nancy Drew is one. Okay. Fake messenger is one. I hate when she tries to pretend that she knows the law and be out here giving out all kind of misinformation and disinformation. Yeah, you should not be able to talk about certain things unless you have expertise in the field, unless you have a degree in the subject, okay? And please, for the love of it, stop calling yourself a journalist unless you went to school and college for it and you have a journalism degree, okay? Content creators are not journalists. I know some of y'all want to be and think you are. Specifically, some of them were saying after they covered the Diddy trial that they're journalists. No, you're not. No, you're not. Okay, if you don't have a degree in journalism, you're not a journalist. Okay, you're a content creator, and there is a huge difference. Okay, see, journalists are going to be a lot more careful about the things they say. Okay, things that could be deemed defamatory, libelous, slanderous. That's what they're going to do. They're going to be careful to be more ethical, or they should be. A lot of these content creators out here calling themselves journalists just be out here lying and telling lies and making up stuff. And you're clearly no journalist. You didn't go to anybody's college, and we can tell by your vernacular. Okay? We can tell by your verbiage when you can't pronounce certain words correctly and use certain words like anomaly and don't even know what the hell it means. Okay? Please pay attention. That's right. Citizen journalism, Nicole. Okay? Perplex said, well, that should apply with politicians as well. Yeah, you know, it absolutely should, beloved. Okay? It absolutely should. Anthony said they're not journalists, they're tabloid gossipers, and it's getting old. Exactly. Okay? I mean, why would anybody who only talks about celebrity gossip for a living think that they're a journalist? Make it all make sense. Okay, that's how I feel about that. But anyway, with that being said, I'm going to conclude this broadcast. Listen, I want to thank you all for tuning in. Please like and share, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. I will probably be back later on around maybe 7 o'clock. Well, actually, I would definitely be back later on. What am I thinking? Today's Friday. I have a panel discussion that I'm going to be doing later, okay, at 7 o'clock. I'm about to post a link now. So you all please make sure that you tune back in, okay? And so with that all being said, until next time, I hope you all enjoy the rest of this beautiful day. Each one teach one. That's how we grow and thrive. Do something productive, constructive, but never destructive. And always remember, beloveds, to keep the Most High first in your lives. Peace.
Hit him with that flavor. Gold all in my skin, God all in my blood. Kings all in my circle, you touch one of mine and you're done. They show no love for the queen, why you hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans? I got dreams like King Luther, shed blood like Kunta. You ain't helping my people, I ain't got nothing to say to ya. I want all the smoke like hookah. Talking reparations, America won't be great until they give us compensation. I'm like, I'm the hottest right now. That's See right. A bunch of lames out here trying to jock on my style. They be doing too much. I'm the queen, it's too easy. It's like they all at Popeyes, how they be talking so greasy. I just sit back and laugh while these haters get madder. So nefarious how they don't want my pockets with cheddar. I tell them they can do better. These snakes in the grass can leave a bite on your ass, cause y'all be trusting too fast. I got my foot on the gas, other one on they necks. Dropping receipts on haters, you better show some respect. I'm never facing regrets, we only facing the threats. Running through every challenge like a relay, break no sweat. It's a cold game, so I got that blanket with me. Now that my people awaken, ain't no going to sleep. I do not play by my piece, this time I'm playing for keeps. You talking slick, but when I see you like them ends, we gon' meet. And I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood. Kings all in my circle, you touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen, why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood. Kings all in my circle, you touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen, why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got